With love, all kinds of creative action takes place. You see how Raulbai has love for me. And in this place, you all also got new ideas of creating a beautiful thing. And as love will increase, your creativity will develop. So the basis of all creativity of Saraswati is love. If there is no love, there is no creativity. It's even in the deeper sense. You see, people who have created all the scientific things are also out of love for the masses, not for themselves. Nobody has produced anything for themselves. If they make something for themselves, it has to become for universal use, otherwise it has no meaning. Even if you say atom bomb and all these things are created from science, they are also very protective. If they had not created those, people would not have taken out their minds from war. Now nobody can think of having a big war. Of course they are having cold wars, but that also will gradually stop when they will be fed up of it. So all the activity on the right hand side of Saraswati basically has to end up in love, starts with love and ends up in love. Whichever does not end up in love coils up and finishes up. It just disappears. So you can see that even matter which is not used for love just finishes up. The basis has to be love. Otherwise all such matter that we create, which has angularity, which is not fitting into the mass media, which is not appealing to the masses. Of course, it takes time. We have seen that it takes time. But it does has that tendency always to disappear in the thin air as soon as you find it does not appeal to the masses. Now this love of that we talk of, this great love of God we talk of, we know that it for definite through vibrations. People do not have vibrations, but still they can feel the vibrations in a very unconscious way. All the great paintings of the world have vibrations. All the great creative works of the world have vibrations. Only those who have vibrations have been sustained by time. Otherwise all other things are destroyed. There must have been monuments and horrible statues and horrible things that have been created long time back, but were all destroyed by nature and they could not stand the impact of the Kala, that is the destructive power of time. So all that is sustaining, all that is nurturing, all that is ennobling comes from this sense of love which is within us, very much developed, but within others also who are not yet realized. Ultimately the whole world has to realize that one has to go to that ultimate love of God, otherwise it has no meaning. Now you have seen in art, people have taken to other methods of appealing to people by using cheap things and very vulgar things, just to make people think that this is art. But this will all disappear. It cannot sustain the impact of the time, as I told you. It cannot, because the time will kill it. All these things have to disappear. And already you can see the result, how things are changing everywhere, even in the West. So there is no need to be so much disappointed with the West and to say that the Western world is a wasteland. It is going to be all right, and it has to be done. Especially it has done a lot of puja of Saraswati, I should say, in the West. Much more that they have done in India, because they have gone to learning, they have tried to find out so many things. But only thing they forgot that it is a goddess of learning. Everything comes from the goddess, that's what they forgotten. And that's why all the problems have been created. If there is no spirit in your learning, if there is no source of the goddess in your learning, then it is absolutely useless. If they had realized that there is the spirit that is working it out, they would not have gone that far. And that's what I was warning the Indians all through, that you are now taking to industrial revolution in a way. And to avoid all the complications of industrial revolution, you must try to know the spirit. If you do not know the spirit, you will have the same problems as these people have, because they are also human beings, you are also human beings. You will go the same way, at random you will run, and there will be problems, the same problems as the Western people have suffered. Now, Saraswati's blessings are so many that one cannot describe in such a short time. And the Surya has given us so many powers that it is impossible to tell them even in one lecture, even in 10 lectures. But how we go against Surya and how we go against Saraswati while doing the worship of Saraswati is to be seen very clearly within ourselves. For example, the Western people are very fond of Surya because they have no Surya with them. But they go too far with it, as you know, and create complications within themselves of Surya. But the main thing that one has to achieve through Surya is the light within. Is the light within. And if Surya Chakra at the Agya level is occupied by Lord Jesus Christ, then it is even more essential that the purity of life, what we call niti, is the morality of life. The morality itself has become very much sort of an argument in the West. People don't have any sense of absolute morality. On vibrations, of course, you know. But they have gone all against it. Those who are the worshippers of Jesus, those who are the worshippers of the Surya, of the Saraswati, have all gone against the powers of Surya, just disobeying it. Because you cannot be a Surya if you do not have a proper sense of morality and holiness. The Surya itself brings light. You see everything clearly. So many qualities Surya has got. It dries up everything that is wet, dirty, filthy. It dries up all these places which create parasites. But so many parasites are created in the West. Not only parasites, but there are horrible cuts and horrible things which have come into those countries which is supposed to be full of light. And in that darkness they exist. Darkness about the spirit, darkness about their own knowledge, and darkness about love. These three things have taken over in the places where you are supposed to love light. Light doesn't mean what you see with your gross eyes. Light means from within, the light of love. That one should understand. Light of love. And it's so soothing, it's so sweet, it's so beautiful, it's so enamoring, it's so abounding that unless and until you can feel that light within you, that light which is of pure love, of purity, pure relationships, pure understanding, if you can develop that kind of a light within yourself, then the whole thing will be cleansed. Wash me and I shall be whiter than snow. This is what happens to you when you are completely cleansed. The purest form of nature is within us. The purest form of nature is within us. Our chakras are made out of that purest form of nature. We are the only people who are spoiling it by our mental thinking. Again, the same Saraswati's work. We are going against Saraswati itself. Saraswati cleanses all that is impure in nature, while with our brain activity we are spoiling all that. All our brain activity goes against pure intelligence. And that's what one has to understand, that this pure intelligence is not to be soiled by our thinking. Our thinking can make us so bumptious, so ego-oriented, so impure, that we can really eat the poison and say, what's wrong? Just the opposite of Saraswati. If Saraswati is within us, she gives us Subuddhi, wisdom. And that's why to worship Saraswati, to worship Surya, we must have that clear vision as to what we have to be, what we are doing, what filth we are living in, what our mind is getting into. After all, we are here for emancipation and not for just pampering our ego and living with our filth that is with us. So this light should come within us and we should try to rise above our own mental filth which is being created around us. So in your judgment, what is there? There is no pure knowledge. So see how connected they are. Vibrations, which is love. And also the other thing which you have to have is the knowledge, the pure knowledge, the true knowledge. We can say that pure knowledge and true knowledge is like the energy, like electricity. And the way you feel it, the way you understand it, it exists, that is love. People don't understand also what is the love is. They get mad after someone and say that, Mother, I think that I'm in love with that person. And after 5 days they'll come and say, Mother, no, I won't have anything to do with that person. Why? Because you have not got the pure knowledge. You did not feel the pure knowledge in that person through your vibrations. Now see how connected it is. Like we can say the sun and the sunlight. What is the difference between the two? Sun is there. When sun comes, there is sunlight. So what is the difference? Or we can say the moon and the moonlight. What is the difference? There is no difference in these two things. One is the moon and another is the light. So all these things are very, very confusing, that we don't understand how confused we are about it, and we don't understand how our vibrations can mislead us. Because vibrations are there, all right, but sometimes even if they are missing, just to justify yourself, you will say, we have vibration. And we feel that it's very good, excellent. And later on you will discover that it's not so. So even now, when we are realized souls, we should know what is encompassing us, which is around us, what is that which makes us feel that it's all right, it is good, we should have it. Once we start understanding that vibrations of pure knowledge are of a very different nature, then you are not attached to that person, you are not attached to that family, you are not attached to that country, nothing. But what you feel is the pure vibrations coming to you. This is the point which is very confusing. When you say, my vibrations are good, I like those vibrations, and while you jump into the ocean of filth. Many people have asked me, Mother, why is it sometimes we make mistakes? You do not make mistakes. It's your ignorance which is darkness. And that's why whenever you plunge into it, you fall into trouble. So to understand that our knowledge has to be completely clear.